Hello everyone, welcome to Screen Walks. My name is Marco Demutis, I'm digital curator at Fotomuseum Winterthur. Screen Walks is a collaborative program initiated by the Photographers Gallery in London and Fotomuseum Winterthur in Switzerland, with support by Pro Helvetia. This series of fortnightly live streamed events was created in 2020 as a joint effort by both institutions to continue the investigation on the changing role of photography in its digital and network form. We invite researchers, curators, and artists to take us to digital and online spaces through different images and image cultures. Every event has a different format and allows us to take a peek at the properties of network images and online visual culture through the eyes of practitioners and researchers who perform the network in different ways. Screenwalk show works in progress and performative lectures, workshops, guided tours, behind the scenes, and much more. If this is your first Screenwalk, please check our archive on screenwalks.com or on our YouTube channel to find out about our previous events. Now, for those of you in Zoom, your microphones should be muted. If that's not the case, please mute it now. The event will be recorded and will be archived, so please turn off your camera if you do not want to be recorded. Please use the public chat to ask your questions, or alternatively send a private message to John or myself.
And hello from my side too. I'm John Uriarte, curator of digital programs at the Photographers Gallery in London. Today, we'll take a guided tour through the streets of Spain, moving across both time and space, through the photographic layers of Google Street View. First launched in 2007 by Google, Street View has expanded globally, mapping cities and rural areas worldwide. With 360-degree cameras equipped on their cars, Street View drivers capture the world outside their vehicle. The images are automatically stitched and uploaded to the online navigable space of Google Street View. Yet this global photographic online world is not only a space of virtual travel, but has also become an important tool and resource for several artists and photographers. Today, we will be taking on a special guided tour that looks at the potential of Street View to become a photographic archive, preserving images which will otherwise be gone, erased, and disappeared. Azahara Cerezo will in fact lead the audience into a tour of political graffitis through the platform of Google. In 2015, the artist started collecting images from different sites and political tensions during the Spanish Civil War, la Guerra Civil Española, in between 1936 and 1939. For her project Paisajes digitales de una guerra, digital landscapes of a war. Messages appear on walls, rushed and ephemeral. They are written, crossed out, rewritten, and erased. Google captures them through photographs taken at different moments, stitched together and forming layers of time. Street View becomes a tool of documentation and observation of those tensions evolving within the frame that the platform itself creates. Azahara Cerezo investigates in her practice the particularities and contradictions of the territory whose physical dimension is liquefied by digitalizing processes of global scope. She has exhibited individually at Bolit Contemporary Art Center Girona, at the Centro de Arte La Regente in Las Palmas, and collectively at Bienal Sur in Cúcuta in Colombia, Center Art de Santa Mónica in Barcelona, a new Vide in Haarlem, Netherlands, at Mosaic in León, Magua in Barcelona, and many other art centers and museums. We are very happy and excited to have Azahara with us today. Thanks for being with us, and the screen is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you also, John and Marco, for inviting me to this screen walk. More or less, John has introduced my work, but yeah, I'm a visual artist from a town close to Barcelona, where I'm based now, and my work focuses on the notion of territory, as John said, but how it is mixed with digital transformations. I will take you to a tour through political graffitis, but before focusing on my own project, I want to take you to Hong Kong. I will start sharing my screen. It's okay. I will take you to Hong Kong, but not only to take you to Hong Kong, I need you to move not only in the space, but also through time. And we need to go back to the year 2019 and 2020, where major riots and demonstration happened in Hong Kong because the government tried to pass an extradition bill, which meant that China could arrest voices of political dissent also in Hong Kong. So people organized themselves and went to the street. And why am I explaining that? Because it went quite viral at that time that Google was censoring graffitis that people have done in the street. In fact, I have been visiting these streets around, and they are not completely blurred. They are visible. In fact, Google said that it was a matter of the algorithm, that they did nothing. But the truth is that sometimes they disappear. It depends on the angle you are. They disappear. Probably it's not because Google wanted to remove this graffiti, but there are quite strange things that happen sometimes if you go somewhere and you want to see the graffiti closer, just this layer of time disappears. So this probably Google wasn't censoring, or well, the fact is that I don't have the tools to say that Google wasn't censoring, because I cannot check what kind of images were uploaded a couple of years ago, and if they are the original ones, or if they have changed something and put them back online after people said that they were censored. So this idea of layers that disappear when you approach something, I think it's very interesting because it makes me think about this process of blurring, which is not always. I will try to explain. If Google wants to hide something, I think it's not blurring it anymore. It's kind of hiding in between layers, or using other methods to remove buildings or images that they don't want to be seen. Why am I saying this? Because this is something that already happened in China with Baidu, which is their kind of street view. They don't blur things, they don't blur buildings, they mainly remove it like this, so that you don't really know, you don't really notice that they have been removing things unless you compare it to the physical reality, which is what this photographer did when he realized that things had disappeared from the platform. So I think it's a very interesting thing to think about, and it relates to my project as we will see, because some images have disappeared over time. I have some screenshots that I cannot go back to them using the platform, because I don't know why they have disappeared. Really, I tried to put myself in different angles and try different layers of time, and they have completely disappeared. I will, here in Hong Kong, you can see that in fact, there were a lot of Google always takes you back to the most recent year all the time. It tries to take you to the present time. But after taking you to Hong Kong, I will take you somewhere closer to me, which is Asturias. Let's see if it's this is a factory where parts of cars and motorbikes and so on were manufactured, were made, and the factory was about to close between 2014 2015. So workers started to protest because they knew they were going to be fired, and some of them already had been fired. So these are political messages that they put outside the factory, but one of the bosses decided to ask Google to remove these messages, and it's still like this right now. I've been reading some piece of news that say that well, in fact, they don't know if it was a boss or if Google did it by themselves, just taking the decisions. Probably it was a boss of the factory that said that they were attacking some people there, with personal messages and so on, and requested this blurring. There is only one angle that can be seen. I really like when something like breaks the platform, breaks its intention, and it's visible again. And also behind, it's also blurred, and it's much more well done. It's like you almost don't notice what it is, but it's there. So well, yeah, this is visible also. They forgot to remove this one. So I really like how this thing that happened relates to my project in terms of political messages and how they are expressed and not seen in the platform. Like the platform is creating another reality by doing all these processes and removing things. I will show you also. I wanted to show you a project that I don't know if Zoom. This is not a digital project. It's a traditional photography project that was shown in Barcelona. It's a collection of photographs taken between the 1974 and 1977 by a group of photographers called Photofat. One of them was Joan Fontcuberta, in fact, one of the thinkers that have given shape a little bit to the idea of post-photography. And they took photographs of political, not only political, but of graffiti in the street. And it's a project called the Mur. I think the exhibition was in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, which is a little bit later than I collected my own graffitis. But I think it's a really direct and nice connection with this project. And they have all the archive online, which I invite you to visit if you want. We will see that some of the messages that appear on these walls and surfaces in the street of Barcelona are repeated also in my archive. So that's something that interests me as well, how political messages are repeated or recycled until now. I mean, from not only starting from the Spanish Civil War, but before that. So, but this is a clear example that you will see later that that they repeat. Oh, sorry, if I sometime there are a lot of messages that get repeated. Not all of them are political, but let me see if I can find. For example, these with the anarchist, or this one, both no, it's another one. So, and I think it's also I think to bring here the idea of public space that they depict. It's very different from the one I try to approach with my project. That's why I think I think it makes sense to do it with Google Street View, because this group of photographers were doing this during the 70s, which was also a very problematic years in Spain after Franco, and we were going towards democracy, but there were a lot of changes going on. So people find a way to express themselves by writing these kind of messages in the street. But now, obviously, public space is not only physical anymore. That's something, obviously, we have seen with, or we saw a few years ago with the Arab Spring and the Occupy movement and so on, that people organize protests in social media and not only go to the streets. They are also behind a smartphone, and they also are activists, or they contribute to these fights in a digital way. So to me, using a street view is a way of approaching this public space, which is not only physical anymore. This one, we will see something like this, I think. Yeah, it's very as John said, Paisajes digitales de una guerra is digital landscapes of a war. Is a project I started in 2015. I started collecting images of political graffiti, political messages in sites that were relevant during the Spanish Civil War. What does it mean to be relevant or to be a relevant scenario during a war, right? It's a very difficult thing to decide, or it's a thing to decide. But to me, I chose to, well, this is a map of the conflict during the Civil War. So obviously, during a war, all places are places of conflict, are places of tension. But I tried to choose places that were relevant in the sense that they played a role on how the war was evolving. I have now 3 scenarios. I have tried to open some more, but I will invite you, in fact, to open a new one later. But for now, I have 3 scenarios that where I have collected images and where I still go to update the archive, which is Ciudad Universitaria, the university area in Madrid, where there was a battle, a quite important battle in Madrid. Then the Pamplona in the north of Spain, which was one of the first cities that joined the uprising in Franco's side, and it's one of the first places where people. I mean, yeah, it's one of the first ones to join the Franco. And then Cartagena in the southeast, it's one of the last Republican cities in Spain, and the Republican escaped through to Algeria from the port of Cartagena. So I tried to collect photographs in this area of the port. I'm not. I don't try to visit like specific places where something happened, like really in a really strict historical way. It's more like it's more open in the way I work, and I have presented this project in a few different ways, mostly as photographs, but I also made an online version for a while, which there were a lot of coordinates, and randomly there was a script that showed images from them. So it meant that when Google decided to update the images, my piece was updated too. But for now, this online version has disappeared, and later maybe we can share with you the archive of images that I'm still updating. It's not that I do it very often, but there you can find all the images I've been collecting. This graffiti, I will take you. We will do 2 things today. The first one is going to Ciudad Universitaria, which is in Madrid. As I said, this is the map of how the battle evolved there. As I said, I'm not particularly interested in doing a remake, like a very precise way, but I will take you around this area, and we can see some of the graffitis I have been collected, because I didn't know if it was better to show directly my archive of images, but I think it's good if we visit all together the places and see. Okay, this is the metro station in Ciudad Universitaria. More or less, I know where graffitis are, so I have some advantage. This, for example, let me see if I let me see. I'm not, maybe it's not such a big advantage. maybe there. I think there was one hiding here. Yeah. Maybe there are more. Sometimes they are really hidden. As John said, there are layers of messages all around, and sometimes it's difficult to see them unless you go from year to year and see the differences between what happened. I think there's not political messages. We'll see. Also, to sorry, I didn't want to go there. This university area, I think it's quite interesting because students change from year to year, right? But messages are always there. This kind of messages, they appear year after year. I think this one was a place, for example, anarchists don't vote their system, no state, no nation. But then they kind of disappear. And I think that there are no political messages anymore. That's something that I have noticed recently, going back to these scenarios, that most of the places that used to be full of this kind of political graffitis, they are not anymore. I don't know if it's a coincidence with when the car passed and took the photos that they had been cleaning the days before. But it's true that they have been removed in all places I have been, not only in the university area, but also in the rest, in Pamplona and Cartagena, they have been cleaned. I don't know if something also has changed in terms of how people express themselves, that they are not using walls anymore, physical walls at least. Let me see if we can find something. Oh, sorry. Oops. Take the control. Communism, reconstitution of communism. If I don't translate something very well, just let me know. Anarchist symbol. I think there was something around. I like when small symbols just almost you almost don't notice, but they are there. I like when they are in between other things. Fascism, well, sometimes it's also hard to read. Fascist something. Sorry, there is like a there are no images there. Okay. The communist symbol, they're repeating quite often. Anti-fascist, faculty, out, OTAN, European Union, socialist. anti-Nazis always. That's more or less what I really do when I collect the images. Just be patient, walk around, try different layers of time and see what happens. Solidarity with Ayotzinara, which and sometimes messages are political, but they also relate to very specific things that happen in that year or that time, which sometimes I'm aware of it, but I'm not particularly interested in these kind of messages that that refer to a particular date, for example. Sometimes, I mean, I have some of them, but I like these more general messages also. And okay, let's see. Oh, there, okay. Don't know if there. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's one. There is also something anti-capitalist camps, something like free education, student strike, popular strike. There is one that I really like. There is something that happens sometimes that it seems like fake graffiti, like this one. It seems that they have put that on top of a surface with Photoshop or something. That's something I like. The routine kills us and the university makes us slaves. That's what it says. Okay, let's go. Let's see. I haven't really prepared it. I mean, I prepare exactly the sites, but in the university area, it's quite easy to find them. So here, I think there were a few, or at least they were, as I say, it's very difficult to find them in 2022 in this year. You have to go to the past. This is take the way of October, remake the way. If I'm not translating it, John, you can also correct me. Committee for the Reconstitution. And there is also reference to the socialist revolution of October socialist revolution there. I don't know, we can see if there was something else before. This is 2019. No, the same thing. Okay, against their repression, our solidarity, 60 million of refugees outside OTAN. OTAN is not OTAN, right? In English it's NATO. NATO. Just OTAN outside Oriente Próximo. How is it? Well, anyway, don't worry. Okay, there are more in the
It's
past.
the Near East.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, there are more symbols, sorry. And it's clean again, almost clean, anarchy, order without power. That's what it says. I wanted to show you what I said before, that some images have disappeared and I cannot find them again. Let me see if I can find the place here so that you can see that it's impossible. It's here. This is one of the walls that used to have a lot of graffitis. We can see how it has changed. Here, Nazis outside the university, out of university. Viva Cristo Rey, which is a Spanish, yeah, bit fascist thing, or not a bit fascist. State and patriarchy, they kill hand with hand, or they kill together. Anarchy, rojos, reds, and anarchy again. Workers' class obrera, and then clean again, as all the walls now. I had collected here one graffiti that I really like, and I can show you. This one. Ningún nazi con dientes. It's like no Nazi with teeth, right? This is graffiti I took. We can go to the place where I made this photo. I think it seems to me that it's here, because here, yeah, I think so. And well, maybe there is the image, but I couldn't find it anymore. Oh yeah, it's back. Okay. Okay, so yeah, for many years this image had disappeared, really. I mean, and there was something weird also with this place here, because you could like go one step and you were in 1 year, and then you went back and the platform said you were in another year. It was very, very strange, but I see that they have put this together, and it's really nice to see that it's there. Well, it's not there anymore, but it's on Google. There is also this one, not in the street, not in the classes, no Nazis. So these are the kind of images that I have been collecting. Nací muerto, abono pa mi huerto is really difficult to translate, but yeah, Nazi dead. It can be buried so that vegetables grow better. It's something like that.
Yeah, sort of like then Nazi, like a compost for my allotment, something like that.
Yes. This one, yeah, I shared it on my Instagram, but I think we can see how it has changed. I really like that also, which is this one. Now this is solidarity with arrested people, but then it transforms into bread, patria, and justice, and then it says arriba España, and someone puts abajo, so down, up Spain, and then down Spain. I really like this kind of corrections that happen over time, that someone thinks that have to add something to a previous message and then just change what they mean completely. I will take you also to another wall, and I think it will be the last one before we do this. We open this new scenario, or we try to open this new scenario. This is, let me see if I can find it. I think it's here. This is the Faculty of Geography and History. There were a lot of political messages, solidarity with the arrested, and well, sometimes they just hide. But this is one of the walls that I have showed in the exhibitions a lot of times, because it's a clear example of how messages how they are built through layers or as layers. This is the most recent one, obviously clean, like all the walls in the university. But before that, there was a mix between political messages and other kind of graffitis. For the Popular Republic, Federal Popular Republic. There is also a communist symbol, but then it's crossed out. And then Bisca, Catalonia here, Free Catalonia with Republican, but then it's also on top of other messages. I think it's Falange, yeah, Falange, the fascist party, but it's also crossed, and then this is also fascist symbol, and it's also crossed. So I really like how tensions are expressed in these surfaces, and how they fight for visibility. This is like no workers' boat on something like that. National Republic, and then Falange, and this again the communist. This is the fascist symbol, but it's and the anarchist. So this and then it changes again. Just the year before that it changes, and there are other messages like this communist. And before that, they're more or less the same, but less messages. And death to ETA, to the terrorist group of the Basque Country. And then Falange, death to independentist movements. Vascongadas, it's like an old way to call the Basque area. And also the Spanish flags, but it's crossed out, and anti-fascist cowards. So this is one of the places that I visit also often, because I know that there will be messages most of the time, but so I wanted to share with you. There are really a lot. This university area is one of the Viva Cristo Rey again. it's one of the places where I really know that I will find. I will take you. I wanted to do a kind of experiment with you. I haven't tested. Well, I tested it a few years ago, but I haven't tested it for today. So, but I wanted to leave also some space for failure, or for not knowing what's going to happen, at least. I want to go to another place, and a new place that I haven't collected for my archive, which is the Battle of the Ebro in Catalonia. I will show you first the map, which is here. This is the south of Catalonia. This is the battle that took place there. The area that was where they were fighting. I also tend to choose places that where things happen that have to do like with some idea of human presence more than bombs, for example, because I like this idea of going back to places where people have been fighting with their bodies, or where they have escaped with their bodies, and then go back with this platform, with this Google platform. So here I will take you. We can, for example, start in Corbera d'Ebre. And see what happens if we go from Corbera to Gandesa and we cross this disputed, or this confrontation area, and see if we can find some graffitis. Maybe not. I don't know, but probably it will be less photographed than Madrid, for example. In fact, there are only 4 layers of time. It's not so bad, but probably because it's a small town, maybe it's more difficult. I don't know. But I also chose this one in Catalonia because maybe there are more chances due to the independentist movement. So we'll see. Well, there is something. This is an independentist symbol, and a few more, but I don't. Yeah, there. Okay, the euro, the dollar, boy, right? Which is like the the official diary where all laws are announced. No, it's not boy, it's PSOE, right? It's the Socialist Party. Sorry, it's PSOE. So euro, dollar, Socialist Party, left-wing party, Nazis, Jews, and death, right? More or less. And then obviously some independentist symbol has been added, responding to the conflict in Catalonia. Let's see.
Azahara, while you investigate, is it okay if we bring you some questions from the chat?
Yeah. I think it's yeah. Thank you.
So we had a question a bit earlier on from TTOS FFS, a good old community member of Screenwalk. He asks, do you ever physically go to any of these locations rather than only look on Google Maps?
I have only been in the university area, but at some point when I started, well, I will walk around while I talk, or I will try to do it. I've been in the university area, and at some point a few years ago, I wanted to confront the digital images taken by Street View with the physical graffiti, the physical reality. But I decided not to go for it because I think to me it makes sense to keep it as a digital exploration. But I've been to the university only. I haven't been to Pamplona. I haven't been to this area in the south. Well, I've been there in the south of Catalonia, but I wasn't really looking for graffitis. I mean, I wasn't there for work. So.
I also have a question from Beth asking if does Azahara think that perhaps COVID has forced people to appear online more, and that is why there is less graffiti from the last few years?
Probably yes, I think so, because it was also a moment of cleaning the streets and cleaning everything because everybody was at home, I guess. So that's why I think most of graffitis have been removed, but it's also, I noticed that less and less graffitis appear on walls, which I think it shows some kind of shift to the digital sphere and social media. Yeah, I think it's one of the explanations, probably, because I don't think people are not political. They are just expressing themselves in other ways, probably.
And then I also have a question myself, because your work also, for me, is quite related to another work from a Mexican artist, Julieta Gil. I'm not sure if you are aware of her work, Nuestra Victoria, which documents all the graffiti that went into a very well-known sculpture, like a monument in Mexico during the feminist movements. There were really big protests against the systemic violence against women in Mexico. And there were a lot of graffitis onto this particular monument, El Monumento de Nuestra Victoria, which is a very famous monument in Mexico. And the authorities decided to clean it up and cover it. But Julieta, with a group of other artists and activists, decided to document it on their own. They did a 3D render, a 3D scan of the monument with all the graffitis as a way to preserve the social uprising against the violence. So I was just thinking that, I mean, in this case, you are using Google Street View to document these political battles in Spain. It's a really nice geography of or geology of political battles in Spain. But have you ever thought on using not only going physically as stuff was proposed in there, but using other platforms or other digital means to document and to archive and to preserve these political battles that go beyond the Google platform?
I haven't thought of it, but I think that in the case of Julieta, it's really powerful to document this kind of messages on statues. So I think it's a bit different to me. It makes sense to keep it as a digital archive, but really to preserve it, even if Google decides to take down or to only show the most recent year, right? So I haven't really thought of scanning or 3D scanning or something like this, because yeah, I think it would take the project to another yeah, to other meanings that it's more like, to me, it's a way of documenting the graffitis through the image of Google Street View, and otherwise I wouldn't be sure of how to approach it to not to keep the meaning of the project.
So I guess that I'm sorry for like continuing, but I guess that for you also the platform, how the platform operates and how like it builds all these layers of time and hides and shows all these graffitis and all these political messages. It's also quite important. No? It's not only like documenting what has happened, but also how the Google platform documents it, no, and what it shows and what it hides.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that if I 3D scan or something, I'm reproducing what is there, and I'm interested in this also in this in the way that Street View captures it. And even if I think that we talked about this with you and Marco very briefly in our first meeting, that I think that Google Street View was a very common, well, not very common, but it was a common tool for a lot of artists a few years ago, and it's not anymore, or it's not so much right now. So to me, this project, even if it gets old, it still makes sense. I don't know. I could try to update the way I approach all this graffiti, but I think that keeping it and going back to the same places or adding some places, to me it makes sense, even if Street View is not so fashionable anymore, or so so used.
Totally. I think from my side, I was also thinking that, yeah, Google Street View has also been changing a lot. No, now I think when you go to more recent iterations, to the more recent years, you start having this, pop-up that takes you to the shops and gives you more information. It's also transforming. And in a way, I like what you said. I wrote down this quote of yours: Google always tries to take you to the present. Right, so there is this nice tension of you kind of like going back. It allows you to go back, but it always tries, not to let you linger too much. Like this is still the images almost are there to look a little bit of nostalgia, but then come back and use this tool for these other reasons. And sorry, this was just like a comment of Bassam, but then we have another question from TTOS FS about maybe preservation. And I think you touched upon it a little bit already, but he asked if you have ever thought of uploading to the Internet Archive, Wayback Machines, other ways in which you could, like preserve screenshots for the longer term.
No, I haven't done it. I'm still uploading the images to a Tumblr, which is not very fashionable either, like Street View. But I think it's a thing that I have to go back to this idea of preserving it, because probably Tumblr will disappear or something in not probably soon. So yeah, that's something that I need to solve and find the right, also probably the right way of preserving it with the right platform. But I chose Tumblr like a lot of years ago, and I'm still uploading images there.
So we'll be sharing the link to the Tumblr in the chat.
Okay, thank you. So finally, well, I don't know if there are more questions, Marco and John. Or
no, for now. I mean, you can go on if you want to. Yeah.
Okay. No, it's only, I think it won't take me long. I'm just moving around this area. that corresponds to the Battle of the Ebro. In fact, here in Andes, I think they have like a museum or a memorial center. But I'd like to see if I can find maybe in the map, because I don't know if I will be able to go. There is a memorial somewhere. I don't know where. This is a memorial. Here. And I'd like to see if, yeah, I think it's there. I'm not sure if it's this one. Because I don't try to go to memorial places and so on, or not specifically, but maybe. Maybe. Okay. Yes. Okay. There's something written. It's left-wing government, right-wing politics, just like that. And we don't sell our land, which is a reference to the local context. So this is also, it's a memorial related to the Civil War. If I'm not wrong. So I think I wanted to check if there was a political statement there. So yeah, there is.
I was also thinking if you have ever thought on like crowdsourcing somehow the project, in the sense of like asking people also to participate or to collaborate if they have spotted any graffiti anywhere, because it's, I mean, I'm aware that many artists who have been working with Google Street View have used forums as like maybe not the only, but one of the sources from where like to find images for their projects. And I was wondering if you have like also used forums of any kind, if there's any like group of people looking into this, or this is like a thing of just like a, let's say, artists looking to document it. If you have like found someone else doing that, or if you have ever thought on asking people to participate.
No, I haven't. I tried to collect information on sites, but more related to the history, to the Spanish Civil War, because sometimes it's difficult to know where to look, but not specifically a group of people who can help me finding graffitis. But it would be really nice to have a group of people just working for. No, I'm joking, but maybe it would be a good way, a good contribution to the project. I don't know. I mean, I've been finding, maybe more occasionally on Twitter and things that people share graffitis that they have spotted in some places, and yeah, sometimes I use that to go to these places, but it's not that I have asked a group of people to help me or anything.
So you've heard it, people. If there's any volunteer who want to join Azahara in her project, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, I don't know if there are.
Actually, there is somebody in the chat just now. Did you
who
ask?
wants to work for the project?
No, but he did. No, but that he is already photographing graffitis,
okay,
included also in Spain.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who have websites with graffiti. Not so much with Google Street View, I think, but yeah, there are many groups of people. So yeah, I don't know if it's okay if we stop here, if there are not more questions or things to share.
Sure, we were hoping to witness you going all night long through.
Sometimes I do that, but because it's like, yeah, you get addicted and it's like, yeah, a little bit more.
It is really a detective work, no? It's like a time traveling, and also like that was really great. Thanks a lot also for taking us through the process and you know, taking us in also an unknown new location, looking out for new graffitis. It's been incredibly generous of you, and yeah, I thank you and all the people in the chat.
Thank you as well from my side. It's been super interesting. It was really interesting to look at, particularly at the University in Madrid, on the ongoing political battle that is still there after so many years of the Spanish Civil War, and how it is how the online platforms such as Wall Street View is taking part of it and like hiding, showing, and like playing a part on that political struggles that are going on in Spain.
Also, you know what's interesting? I was thinking that we're now looking at Google Street View as, you know, like you showed us how it's kind of showing these layers from the past, but now this idea of the platform kind of also influence how people will use graffiti, perhaps. So, you know what you were saying about graffiti is moving to a digital space. This could be kind of a reverse idea where people, you know, like knowing that Google Street View car will pass by, will then use the walls again for graffitis. And so I look forward to how the project might develop also in different ways with this feedback loop between the online platform and the physical spaces of resistance and expression.
Yeah, and thank you everyone as well, like everyone who has joined the event. Just to let you know that we will be back in a month